All right, so we're gonna try to get through 4 of them today. We got the scratch assessment, we have the squat assessment, we have the lunge assessment, and we have the toe touch assessment. Okay. The way this is going to work is I'm going to go through at the setup and the execution of the assessment, and then I'll pass the mic over to Brady. Brady's going to go through what we're looking at, how we're looking at it. I'll also say some things and like where you want to look at, as I'm executing it, but he's going to go into further detail of that, and then what does that mean in terms of limitations and faults and so on that we're looking at in that. Sound good? All right. With that, I need a demos. Gabby, you want to come up? We're going to do scratch. So we got a scratch assessment. Okay, scratch assessment. Gabby, I'm going to have you.
Ready.
I'm going to have you fix your hair.
Thank you.
Braid it really fast for time. That was good. That was like 10 seconds.
Thank you.
Is that a PR?
Probably.
That's good.
It's only halfway done.
That's oh, you cut it short.
Yeah.
That's right. Cut the workout short. I got it. All right. So we're doing scratch assessment. Gabby, what we're going to do is you're going to stand with your feet underneath your hips. I want you to have a hook grip. So you're going to take your fingers and just grab both your thumbs. Okay. We're going to start with the right side up first. I want you to reach your arm as far to the sky as you can. Okay. With it in line with your upper back. And then at the same time with the opposite hand, you're going to take it out and you're going to reach down the middle of your spine at the same time with both of your fists. I'm going to take a view from the front and or from the back and the sides as you do this. We're going to do this for about 3 repetitions on one side, and then we'll switch over to the other side. Does that sound good? All right. Let me just have you stand in the middle there.
Which way should I face?
Face that wall. All right. Good. And whenever you're ready, go ahead and perform the movement. Good. And then do it again. Good. And one more time. Good. All right. And then the same thing, we're going to do the other side. Good. Do it again. Good. And one more time. And good. And relax. Good. How did you feel there?
Not great.
Okay. What does not great mean to you?
Very tight
On the overhead?
Yeah.
On which side? Any one side particular or both sides?
Both. No.
Both sides felt tight? Did you notice any other differences from right to left?
Harder to get my right arm up.
Underneath it felt on the right side?
Yeah.
Cool. Good. Well done. That's what I noticed as well. Yep. What I'm looking for here is as I'm watching those 3 reps, I'm kind of gazing right at taking a picture here of this part of the body, then here of the part of the body. But I'm in my head, I'm thinking, what does the upper arm look like? What is the rib cage doing in her core and her spine? And then I'm looking in the back, I'm looking at how does her scapula operate as she's doing this, right? And then within that, I'm taking those snapshots and I'm taking a mental picture of her fist distance between each other. On her right side, she was about 4.5, maybe 5 inches. On her left side, she was about 8 or 9, maybe 10 inches. If I wanted to really know, you could get out a ruler and actually measure and get some stuff there. We're not going to do that. You could. But you just want to note that there's an asymmetry there, right? And then Brady's going to get in further. I kind of jumped into some of Brady's work there on that, but you want to break it down further?
Sorry.
You're all good.
Yeah.
We love the bees. So any questions about what you're looking for? So we're going to go from what you're looking for to the faults. So basically, what is the negative view of that happening if everything's not happening well? So face that way again.
Face that way?
Yeah, face that way for us. And so just like Ben was talking about with the faults of what you can look for is the top view from what is her head doing, what's her upper arm doing, then what is her shoulder doing, and then also what is her rib cage doing. So basically, if we're going through our list of faults, you want to think, I'm going to start looking at the top and then look all the way down. And that's kind of the way you can kind of keep up with where your faults are. So let's just go ahead and go through the first. You can take that right arm up. And so the first thing you're kind of looking for is nice shock right there. And so you want to make sure her humerus is in line with her body. And so if it's not in line, you'll see it kind of going forward. Like turn 90 real quick. Turn 90. Show what it would look like if it was not. Yes, if we're not able to get up. Exactly. Then the next thing you can look for is that head nod. So what would it look like with a head nod? So normally it's going away from your opposite side. So you're going, yes.
Boom. So it looked like head nodding forward like that. Good. And then what you're also seeing, you could see that scapula wing at the back. So doing something like that, making them fly. But what you'll see is that you can get right up under. It's when her shoulder blade kind of pops under. You can see it bigger on her left, but you can see it pop out. And so that's why a lot of times you don't want people doing it in jackets and things like that, because you won't be able to see something. Then what you've also got is you want to look and see as you go. You can take that left arm or either arm back. Is you want to make sure the shoulder doesn't just pop forward. So that's another compensation that someone could have. And then you've also got the rib cages. So the rib cage can go either up with the upper body, or on the lower side, it can also go up on both sides. So you kind of want to go in line with your fault. So it starts with the upper. And so you just want to start with the top and then work your way down on the faults. And so those are our faults for that. Any questions about the faults? It kind of is just the opposite of what you are looking for. So it's pretty easy to keep up with. Yes, it's that shoulders kind of.
Yeah, you're thinking about like how are they negotiating this thing? Right? What's their body doing to get the? You said, hey, I want to get your fist as close as you can down your spine. They're going to try to negotiate a way to get there, and they're going to compensate to try to do that. That's where these things come from. You know.
Shouldn't we tell them? Like when you say that, then they're like,
yeah, you're
trying to make it happen. But if you
yeah.
just said do it, you're not going to.
Yeah, but if you find somebody that has a really good scratch test both right, I mean, they're just solid as can be, and they're just it glides so well down the spine, and they're in there. Right. Let's do a drill here. Let's pick out the faults. See if y'all see the faults. Do a couple. So do them facing them.
Facing them?
No, I'm sorry. Facing away. Yeah. And then turn 90 on the second and third reps. Just see what you guys think here. Go ahead and do a couple reps per side. Okay. That's her left side up. Left side up. What do you guys think? Good. Now turn 90 and do that one again. If you can't see, get up and look around if you need to. All right, now go ahead and do the other side. Make a note. Okay. Good. I want to see some. Do your other side real quick. I want to see from the front here. Yeah. Catch it. Yeah. All right. Me. In my armpit. Cool. What did y'all see? Okay. Scapula. Left side. On the right side, internal rotation. Yep. I saw that. Okay. Anything else? And because of that, what was the other noticing if you didn't see it from the back, but you saw the wing and right? But I saw it as a limitation by seeing it from the side, and I saw it from the front. Did you see it? Yep. That little rib pop. So her lower ribs popped out some there. You saw a little bit of rib flare. Did you guys see that? No. So y'all want to look at it again? Just go to the side. Turn that way. Yeah. Yeah, and do your left one up. Yep. And just look right here. And then come back out. You see that movement there? Yeah. Yeah, I see. Yeah. It's still slightly happening there, yeah. It's not big. That's a small one that could be easily missed. But point of me sharing that is that you can see that happening, that negotiation happening from the rib cages, from the scapula, and from the shoulder rounding forward. So just be on the lookout for those three things, huh? Yeah. Yep. Now on her left side she's failed, but she's failed overall. Why? What's the main thing? Symmetry. Symmetry. No. The goal is to have symmetry. So if someone's fists are here on one side and they're here on the other, that's asymmetry, right? So we want to get. It doesn't matter how if they can touch or not. It could be this far apart, and the other side's this far apart, and they're not their upper arm is their humerus isn't vertical. There's no rib flare. There's no head nod. Then pass. Mm-hmm. No. But there has to be no faults, right? And symmetry. Correct. That's where in your notes, take more detailed notes. And also, I'm glad we got here because it's really important. How often are you assessing people and then asking for their feedback? You notice what I did with her? How'd that feel for you? All I'm doing there is one, I want to know from her perception what she felt like, right? And does what she felt like line up with what I see in the faults? Do you understand that? Right, and I can take some detailed notes on that. If she's perceiving that and I am seeing that, how accurate am I probably in that assessment? Probably pretty accurate. Now I'm in a good place to go on to program prescription. That's okay. That can happen. Then you can dig deeper with questions. Did you feel any different on the left side from the right side? Did you feel tighter on one side or the other? No, I feel great. If someone keeps going, oh, I feel great, then move on. Yeah. I wouldn't be like, no, you were really off on the right side. You know what I mean? Because you're just assessing right now. We're not doing any coaching, no developing, no training, nothing. It's assess, see where they are, right? And the reason why, and most people will give the feedback. I've never had somebody go, no, I feel great. And not want to engage in how they really did feel during the assessment. I've never seen it. So, all right. Final questions on Scratch. We're good? Let's move along. Yeah.
So I've seen people do it and they're improvisating kind of like they can and don't try and really
Cool.
but like why are you telling them to try and even if they can do it without they make it go closer right now.
Yeah, I didn't. If y'all noticed in the setup, I didn't say get her fist down. I said bring your hands down as far down your spine as possible. Right. So I said try to bring them down your spine as close to. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's not the goal. They could. Yeah, they could. Yeah, and you could give an extra cue there. You could say, hey, I want you to stay engaged throughout the body as you do this, or keep the body organized as you do this. Turn everything on as you do this, and let them go through it. Okay, cool. Anything else? We're good? All right. We'll go into prescription stuff later on this stuff. Okay. Is that right? Or are we doing that now? No? Okay. And then overhead squat. Anybody want to demo overhead? Anybody? All right. All right. So I'm going to act that. So again, I'm going to do this. So I'm going to have you face them. I'm doing this as if I was actually assessing her, right? Like so. What I want you to do is get in your comfortable squat position. So we're gonna be lowering your torso as far down as possible, and then standing up. We're gonna be doing that at a 3-0-x1 tempo. So it just means nice and slow going down, and then come up with some intention on the way up. Okay. The way I want you to do this is that I want you to have your hands over your head. Thumbs are gonna be facing the wall or facing your upper back. Elbows are extended. And I want you to keep reaching with your hands as we perform this, okay? Organize your core, and then I'm going to have you lower down as far down as you're able to go at that tempo, and then come back up. We're going to do this for about 3 reps, okay? All right, whenever you're ready, go ahead. Good. 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 And relax. Good. All right. I didn't notice there was no coaching there. Bring your toes in some, go wider with your none of that. I said get into a stance that you're comfortable with. That's the setup. You also don't want to show them, hey, I want you to do this right here. We're not doing visuals. Why? Why? Because we want to really see what's their motor control. If somebody's an intermediate to an advanced level trainee, they're going to know, hey, I'm about to squat. I'm going to get in a good position and I'm going to perform. Someone's never really done that, you know, you might see them jump into something like this, and then you're going to be like,
We want to see all that.
you know, and you want to, yeah, that's giving you, what is that giving you? Information, right? That's giving you a lot of information as a coach of where this individual might be when it comes to motor control and awareness and so on, right? So that's the setup from start to finish. 3 reps. If you need more, you can take more. It doesn't have to be just 3 and call it a day. If you need to see more, say, I want to see some more here.
Video angles?
Right? Video angles are going to be from the side and then the front. Yep. Side and front. Just kind of get a couple reps here. You're going to be able to see lumbar. You're going to be able to see torso angle. You're going to be able to see depth. You're going to see where the hands go. And then coming in on the front side, you're going to be able to see knees. How do they track? And you know what happens to the chest position, all that. Okay.
Standing up. Okay, so this should be honestly the easiest one to kind of pick out the faults because we've done the air squat. What does the air squat look like exactly? And so we want to go same concept as what we did before. We want to scratch test. You like to start with the top and work your way down. Then the air squat, you want to work your way from the bottom and then work your way up. So first fault we could kind of see is her ankles kind of going in. So what would it look like if you did a squat with your ankles kind of collapsing and going in? Yeah, so the ankle kind of twists in a little bit. You can start to see the arch of her foot right here would go in. That's one that we could see. Next one you could see is if you're just working your way up, is if her knees start to go in and cave pretty hard. But remember, they are going to have just a little bit of waver in them. The little bit of waver is okay, but we don't want the hard going in so that's where they have to get their pressure to go up. Then after we kind of work our way up, what can the hips do? And so what we can see is maybe on the side, she'll have that. She could twist one way or another going up. That could be one. She could also have that wink that we've talked about before. So she could have the hips kind of turning over at the bottom. Then for continuing to kind of work our way up, boom. And then she kind of has that chest going forward. So chest going forward could be a very easy fault to see. And then not being able to keep her arms super vertical the whole entire time. So if her arms have to go forward to be able to keep it, if we're not able to keep that humerus in line with the rest of the body the whole entire time. And so, yes. And then, great question. What about the heels? So we could see those heels kind of going up at the bottom of the squat too. And so that could be another fault. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So those are the faults. Yes, you could have that as you're talking through it. And so if they miss that and they keep going with their heels up, that's something you notice. But then one thing you can also do is once you finish noticing their couple reps, you can see what are the best cues that they need to know how to squat right after that. So say you see 3 reps and you're like, oh, they don't know how to do their foot placement. They don't know those things. You're learning those things and you can coach them after that once you've made those noticings. But you don't want to have coached them up before they do anything so you don't know any noticings. You don't notice anything at all if you've already coached them properly. So that could be something to do. Then another thing you guys can also do to basically see where the faults are at is say they have a really, really horrible squat when they're going down, but it could be a lot because of what their arms are having to do. So what you can do is you can coach them to say, hey, let's start with our arms here and see what a squat looks like right there. And so you're also making some other noticings of, oh, maybe it really is just from their scratch test of their thoracic mobility is really needing some work. And so that could be another thing you guys can do to kind of further on that test. Does that all make sense? Any question?
Like lack of eccentric control.
Yeah.
So they just kind of like fall in the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Not able to sit on HSC.
Yeah, just drop it. Drop it and they can't go back up. Yeah, I like that one too.
This is why you guys gotta say, I want you at a 3-0 X1. Seconds down, nice. I use my hand as the guy. 1,000, and come up quickly. Right? What does tempo tell us?
For motor control.
Motor control. Right? So immediately you can find out, like that's the whole purpose of this. Do we need motor control or do I need to go into another assessment and get goblet squat 20 RM to see where their strength endurance is? right? But if it's like, okay, I want you to do a 3-0XO, they can't do that and here to that, and they're popping, dropping, right? It's immediate fail. We're done. It's like, we know where we need to work.
Is it okay to get video from the back? Because I oftentimes see like one hip going up, and then you can see the heels really well. So you shouldn't see heels from the side, but
You can. It's very rare. This is getting us. You're getting a little bit complex. You can, like, you can go back into your squat. So you can get a video angle. So say this is my phone. I can get a video angle facing down over her hips. You go ahead and squat, right? And from here, like I can see actually, there's a wider gap on this leg actually from her torso than there is from that. There still is from that side. So there's a little bit of asymmetry here. You're going into a little bit more than you need to, perhaps. Okay, with that individual. In terms of where we're at right now with this, which is in onboarding. Okay, later on, if we want to go into a little bit more depth, work alongside some PTs to help kind of diagnose this a little bit further and go deeper, sure. But at this point in the game and their journey, it's just too much. Yeah, I would leave it alone. All right. Another thing on the squat. Let me ask you this. So review this again. So I want you to. Well, let me just demo it. So which of these? Let me know pass fail on each of these types, right? On each of these squats. Okay. Do it again. Okay. All right, say again. You pass or fail that? Okay, why? Yeah. Do it again. Yeah. That's the big one. Yeah. Well, they're hard. Okay, good. All right. If the butt weak wasn't there, would you pass or fail that?
pass because could you just tell them, can you look up, keep your eyes on the horizon?
Yeah. Well, some people's what I'm getting at is some people's torso. I probably demoed it poorly. Some people's torso, they can sit straight up and down, right? Their torso and their squat. You're pretty good at that with your hip mobility. Some people are not able to, but they're still here, but their humerus is still in line with their spine. You're looking at this part of the arm, is it staying in line with the spine? And if they're a little bit forward inclinated in that squat, that's okay. I would still pass that. But in the notes, I would say, hey, let's see if we can work some program design. A beautiful one is a wall squat, facing the wall squat, to see if we can't work there up top. It also let me know when I see something like that, I'll immediately go to the ankles. So they're going and they're like locked. Their knee can't go anymore to get it upright, right? So they'll stop there, and so they have to go there. But they still might look good everywhere else. And so I may go into a little bit of ankle making adjustments of the ankles and throw in some mobility. With ankle mobility, it might really help their fitness, right? Well, potentially, yeah. If the knee goes here and it's not able to dorsiflex, that's your ankle mobility. There's an easy test. We used to do it in OPEX actually, and we took it away just because, again, complexity is absolutely necessary. But this was one test. When I got certified in OPEX in 2011, this was it. We would go here, step away, there. Can you still touch? Now, not letting the heel come up and also not reaching here. With the torso had to be upright. The heel had to stay down. You see how I'm torso upright, heel down? And I had to be able to touch, an inch, 2 inch, 3 inches away. 3 inch was full pass, good mobility, right? 1 inch away, we started, saying, hey, we need to work on. Some people couldn't even touch the wall with their toes touching the wall, right? That was the dorsiflexion issue that they had. And you assess one at a time. I like that test still to kind of just get a quick check-in of like where people are, right? I think advanced level people are getting 6-7 inches away from the wall, right? Is the type of dorsiflexion they're able to have. So, but that can give you, again, information that what's going to go into program design, and you start working on, some joint distracted stretches of the calves and ankle. There's a lot of stuff we could show you there. So I think we need to get into, with as much ankle immobility that I see, as a whole, I think we need to address it as a community of coaches. You go, hey, let's just get like some looks here. I might even call Carl and say, hey, we might bring back in the ankle assessment. What do you think? You can see a visible improvement after 3 sets of a joint distracted ankle mobility piece of 10 to 20 reps, ankle distracted, test, retest immediately, and you'll see change in that session. Yeah. But like with all flexibility stuff, frequency is most important, right? Not volume. And so that's how frequently you're dosing that in there. Okay, lunge. Who wants to do the lunge? Oh, thank you.
I can do lunge.
All right. So I would have Brady lay down on his, just have him sit down, just sit nice and tall on your butt. I'm gonna look at where your pocket comes into your hip here as one point. All right, then I'm gonna come right here to the ankle as the second point. Go ahead and stand on up. What I'm gonna have you do is I'm gonna start with your toe behind this blue marker, okay? Your feet are gonna be hip width apart to shoulder width apart, somewhere in that range. When you step out, I want you to make sure that imagine you're on 2-2 tracks here, so your front leg is gonna remain hip width apart as you do this. Try not to let yourself go in line. When you step out, I want you to step out with your right foot and the heel beyond this, right at or beyond this pink marker, okay? And then gain your balance for me. Go ahead and cross your arms like you're a genie in a bottle. All right. What you're going to do here is you're going to stay nice and tight and organized in the core, keeping your torso straight up and down. I want you to bend the back leg until it touches the ground, then come up to full extension. Good. And I want you to do 2 more reps just like that. Good. Good. Just step. He's slipping. Go ahead. Good. And good. Relax. Good. Now be mindful of that. See what happened here, guys? We're on the turf. What's happening? Slipping. So we may want to get onto the rubber. That won't happen, or concrete or whatever. All right. Good job. So 3 reps one side. I'd have them do the same thing other side. Okay.
You just go to it.
Okay.
What are my pulls?
So, but it's important here is that a couple of things I'm not doing is showing them how to do it. I'm not setting up. I had gotten in a little bit of trouble with that as a coach. I was showing people how to do it, and I started recognizing that I was missing opportunity to see people how they were really moving. Another thing here is this is a single leg movement. If you got somebody with back injuries, be careful. If you got someone that's pretty obese, be careful. Yeah, or old, right? Be careful here, right? And then, if you do have those things, right, and you're like, okay, I think maybe this individual can do this, just make sure that you say, hey, I want you to go down as far as you comfortably can. Don't push, stay in your lane here. Don't push past your limits, okay? All right. So viewpoints are going to be from the side and the front is where I'm trying to get a video to look at. Go ahead and step back out and let's perform that side again. It is important that this genie position happens and that he's parallel to the ground, because if I'm seeing any wavering here, I want to know what's going on. Or it could also dump forward. I can see that there by having those hands there. Okay. So you'll see forward inclination, what he just showed you there. You'll see valgus happening here. You'll see lack of control. Again, that kind of fast down, right? Yeah. You'll see good eccentric. You'll see good eccentric, poor concentric. All right, there it is. Right, you'll see something of that nature. Right, you'll see a loss of balance. Okay, you'll see a lot. Be noticing that. Right. What I like to do here is in the setup say, hey, as you step out, gain your balance first, and then we'll go for 3 reps per side. So gain your balance first is a good coaching setup cue. Okay. Sometimes you'll see people pushing offline, so they're kind of pushing back off that back leg. They're not coming straight down, straight up. So you'll see it offline there and then back. Yep. You'll see something of that nature. So, yeah, you see that a lot. Yep. Coming from. Yep. You'll see on the setup. Yeah, the most common. Yep. Most common one there is in the back leg. Go ahead and show your outward. So now turn your heel inward, other way. So you'll sit all the way to the ground. Yep. You'll see this stuff. You'll see that often, right? There's a lot that I learned there. Is like, hey, I want you to do this with your heel to the sky, right? As soon as I do that with them, this is they show like go to your heel down. No, other way, inward. Now I'll say, okay, good. Now get your back heel to the sky. Right there, he did a good job. Why did he do a good job? Right? He's got motor control and he's got balance. Right? 90% of the people that set up like that with their back leg, when they go to try to get their heel into the sky, they lose balance drastically. So we see a lack of stability there. They need immediate fail. Motor control is needed. Yeah, you could go there or you could go upright. Upright in the uprights. Something more sturdy. Yeah. It depends. Like if they have any knee issues or back injuries, I'll probably just skip in that assessment. If they don't have that, and I want to see how do they organize themselves in balance and get set up and see in that single leg pattern, I'll have them hold on to something and do it, and then maybe even put a med ball or something, even like a couple plates down, to where they're not having to go full range of motion. So I can see how they work in a shorter range of motion, and see if valgus is happening, see if they're able to keep their torso upright, all that. Yeah, I mean, I don't even, they don't know, so I don't tell them. I just say, hey, I'm just going to I want you to go to this object here. I want you to hold on here, and I want you to go down and try to touch that object, but go to, stay in your lane and stay, go to a place that you can do, that you can do it. I want you to own this pattern. I'll use terminology like that, and I say, if you feel any pain at all, I want you to stop immediately. We're going to move along. Yeah, I want to know pain. Give me pain feedback. If there's any pain, we're done. Yeah, we never push past the pain. So. Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Like we want to train those patterns, like people even squatting back to a box. So
yeah.
how do you address that? You guys find them to go to the doctor.
Yeah. I mean, you want to try to isolate, right? So you can do like band extensions, right? You can do hamstring curls. You can isolate the muscles and try to work those muscles in and around the legs, right? Maybe you're getting them on the ground. They're doing a little leg lifts. Maybe they're doing like hip extensions, right? Just think about like, okay, they can't squat. That's the compound movement. Well, what's the build up movements, the preppers? What preps that squat? Let me try to work them there, and kind of, they not only will they develop, they'll prime the pattern to where they, hopefully get strong in those muscles. Because you got to remember, muscles as they're developing, they gain in density, right? They actually protect the joint, right? Because they absorb the impact, so that the impact's not going to the joints, right? So over time, hopefully we can get their muscles dense enough where the joints are more protected. They go into a squat, they're able to handle that demand that's being placed on the joint. Yeah, that too. Yeah. They stabilize, they protect. They don't just move the joint, which they do. That's a function of the muscles, right? But they don't just, Now the muscles are being classified into the hormonal system, the endocrine system. I don't know if y'all have read that science recently, but because they release minerals and different hormones into the system when they're contracted. So scientists are starting to place muscles into the endocrine system now, which they've never done before. But anyways, all right, lunge lasts only within the last 5-10 years. Any questions on the lunge? Okay. Last but not least, toe touch. Anybody want to do a toe touch? So, yeah, last one for the day. What time is it?
20.
Yeah, we're doing good. So I'm gonna have you start with your feet perfectly together. Knees are gonna stay all the way locked out. Hands are together with your fingertips. You can cross over here, right? With the hands, or side to side, I'm fine with. Okay. What you're gonna do is you're gonna bend down and try to touch your toes while keeping your knees locked out. Don't let any knees bend at all, and just go down as far as you possibly can, and then come back up. Good. Good. One more time. Good. And relax. Good. All right. Again, and then on this one too, we want to observe from the front. I used to do it from the side. Me and Brady just had this conversation. It's like we just need to simplify, right? Not have any wasted moments in this stuff. You can see everything you need here, and they can too. So you can see, do they get their toes? You can see, if I had a video, I could see how far their fingertips are away from their toes. I can see what kind of negotiation their spine goes through in order to get down there. I can see if their hips shift at all, or if they're imbalanced right to left. I can see all those things occur from the front angle. It's also non-evasive. They used to teach it from behind. Now imagine, right? Like we're in the gym, right? I'm a guy, she's a female, and I'm sitting here filming now her from, what does that look like? It's terrible, isn't it? Right? It's not good. So that's why it's like, so don't ever do that. Even female to female, I mean, just don't do it. It just looks, you don't know, right? It's just, it could be too much. So I used to do it from the sides for the members' sake. Because I would like to, like with a guy like Isaac or something, right? Came in, barely touched his toes. Or I remember doing this with Logan, right? This was Logan. Like he was in the garage. He could only do that right there, right? And now he can touch his toes. Not only that, he could pull like 500 something pounds. I don't know, right? So, but I would do it from the side so that we could see really clearly how far they are away from their toes. And then when we reassessed them and we got them closer, I'd do another video from the side for them to see. Right, but discussing with Brady now, it's actually can all happen from the front, and you get more done by looking at it from the front anyways. And you can still use it with the client to show that front angle of how far they were down. If you were to put those two videos side to side, and that's the purpose, because you want to show them progression there. I mean, no. Just you want to look at the distance between the hands and the toes. The fingertips. No. Yeah.
We're not qualified for that.
I would just say do it again and keep it. I would say do it again and keep your toes down. Just relax your toes.
If you could do that.
Yeah.
And then also their lumbar and their thoracic we're looking at.
Yep.
So
That was a good difference.
can you do it again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, can you stay on the bottom? Sorry. So we're looking at the lumbar.
Yep.
If it's flat, that's the fault.
Yeah, if it's super flat and and there's no movement in there.
Got it.
Yep.
And then for thoracic, it's flat.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Another fault happens here too is like, and this is now I'm going back and retracting the side view thing, right? Because the side view gives me something I can't quite see from the front, and that is what happens to the hips at the very beginning of the movement, right?
Oh.
Do they offset? Because you'll see that people that don't have a good bending pattern, they don't know how to move their hips back. They'll literally do this number, right? They'll go right for that because they have no idea how to move their hips back to get down there, right? So just be mindful of that too. You can kind of get maybe a 45-degree angle and see that, but I can see it from the front.
Bend as deep as you can while keeping your legs straight.
Yep. Yeah, I want to reach your hands towards your toes.
You could bend your knees, but we want them not to bend their knees.
Correct. We want their knees to be locked up.
Bend your knees. Get like super. Bend your knees in.
Right. And I want to see if that happens. Right. And if it does happen, I just say, hey, do it on this next rep. Keep your knees locked out. Go as far as you're able without locking out, without letting the knees bend at all. Yeah, you got to really accentuate that part of it.
And this is telling us about their bend pattern.
Mm-hmm.
Flexibility in the back of their legs.
Yep.
Thoracic and lumbar.
Yep. Mobility of the spine, mobility of the posterior chain, the motor control of the hips going offline. You see a lot of there.
Technically, you wouldn't deadlift from the floor if you did.
Technically. Yeah, trap bar, deadlift, that might be a different conversation. You know, you might be better to go more to the squat pattern of the bend on that continuum. Kettlebell deadlift, sumo deadlift, maybe that kind of stuff. Yeah, yeah. Depending on how bad it is, right? But yeah, this is a prerequisite. Another thing too, just be mindful of like if they're not passing toe touch, especially if it's a drastic not pass, right? Like it's clear, it's like wow, okay, that's a no go. I call that a train wreck. Like it's like easy to see either on that or the active straight leg raise. Don't get them doing a Sorensen. I don't know if we've edited that yet, but I want the Sorensen out of level 1. Okay, cool. Because I've seen people get injured on Sorensen, right? Or they feel like, hey, I feel like my hamstring's about to snap. And it's just because they're so tight, and then we're putting it in under all that stress. So just be mindful of that. Don't let them get into Sorensen. Sorensen is a strength endurance piece, right? If they don't have this, they don't have the motor control. We need to gain mobility first, motor control within the bending pattern. Then we can be concerned with strength endurance. That's when we go into Sorensen. So good. All right.
Particularly level 1.
Yeah. It's not porting it on. Yeah, it's not an onboarding. They need a clear toe touch and active straight leg raise.
This is a big one where you want to ask someone, what are you feeling? Because a lot of times you have back pain, they'll actually, like if I did a toe touch right now, I'd feel my calves. But that's because my nerve is tight, not because my hamstring is tight. And so that's a big thing to kind of ask and make sure, hey, where are you